Hello and welcome to Tending the Soul, the ministry of Robbinsdale Parkway United Church of Christ. I'm Reverend T. Michael Rock, and with Reverend Kathy Itzen, we're privileged to be leaders of this amazing progressive congregation in North Minneapolis. We are here in the midst of a holy time. We just finished celebrations of Passover in the Jewish tradition, Holy Week here in the Christian faith. And all of this leads to an understanding of being a part of and connected to a much bigger world. And friends, today I have to say that my heart is broken open in new ways at the trial of Derek Chauvin. And the murder of George Floyd was a devastating experience for so many because we watched it happen. We watched a man's life who was cuffed and bound, unarmed, and brutally killed in front of everyone on a cell phone video. And we watched life be snuffed out. We felt it. We understood that our lives would never be the same again. For many. And for many, it was the reliving of a past trauma. And right now, in the midst of the trial, the world is watching us as we do this soul tending work of understanding that our lives are intricately connected. And just because someone wasn't accused and tried and held accountable for a past crime, that doesn't mean that there's not a sense of accountability that's still out there. There's still a sense of injustice and oppression that exists until we actually make the amends, actually repair the breach. We will continue to relive the trauma that has happened before. And so that's what we're doing here in the midst of this trial, is we're reliving not just George Floyd's death, but all of the deaths that have happened at the hands of authority figures who had never been on trial, who had walked and continued in their lives where families were in deep grief and pain. And so there are so many folks on trial in this moment and people who are just yearning and crying out for justice. And that's what we're doing in our soul work here, is to understand that we need to pay attention, that we need to watch and feel and experience what's going on. And one of my great teachers, Cameron Trimble, said this week that a reminder to say over and over again as you do this work, as you watch this trial, as you move through this world in this Holy Week liminal space, threshold to transformation, possibility, experience, to live and die in that death, is to understand that your inner work, the work you do as soul tenders, reflects your outer work. In fact, your outer world reflects your inner world. Like how we see the world is a very clear reflection of what's happening inside us. And if we are defensive and say we don't want to talk about that, it's what's happening inside, right? If you're not taking the time inside to work on your own sense of connection and place in the world and connection with all people, then it's really hard to watch a trial and to confront systemic racism. But if we're doing the inner work, our outer world will mirror back to us all of the injustices that are happening, and we can do some of that deep repair work that needs to be done. Soul tending, the inner work, is deeply reflected in how we view and interact with the world. Your outer world reflects your inner world. It's how you read the paper. It's how you take in the news. It's how you understand yourself in the world. It's how you describe yourself, is mirrored in your inner work. And if you're inside, if you're open and vulnerable and humble and present to all that is all is happening in the world, this divine sacred place where we call God, where God dwells in you, if that is deeply connected to who you are, you will see that experience in everything else. And you will know that we all have inner work to do so that our outer world can be a world of justice and love. So that our outer world can actually reflect the goodness and the beauty and the love that is called to be present. But it takes our inner work to make that happen. It's why we do soul tending. It's why we are reminded all the time that if our response to racial injustice and misogyny and patriarchy is defensiveness and not wanting to hear about it, it just is a beautiful invitation to do more inner work, to change your inner world so it reflects your outer world, to change the outer world so it reflects your inner world, so that everything is combined and connected. This is the beauty of these soul tending moments. And if you love this idea, then like and subscribe and send and share this experience, this invitation to do the inner work so that the outer world reflects that which is good and true and beautiful. I'm so grateful that we get this chance to be together in this way. This invitation to open your heart, to do your inner work. And may this week of holiness and transformation be in you and out there all at the same time. Amen.